right, I'm gonna start by asking. The film sort of says it's inspired by real events, and I was just wondering exactly how much of this tale is real, and what's it sort of, where's the true events come from?
I think it's nearly all true. I know it's fictitious, but things that are happening. A young boy, and my dad decided to come out of retirement because of his pal Bob, but and then it hits you about the crash, a wee bit here and a wee bit there, and goes along that way.
So Sandy, do you remember your dad sort of telling you about this story and these sort of young kids that he was managing?
Well, I lived with the young boys during that spell. I was a young boy myself, by the way, and I grew up with them. I grew up with his great team, playing, training with them, playing against them, socialising, clubbing, dancing, and all that jazz. I grew up with them, so I know all the lads. And the great thing was they took me in as one of the lads. I wasn't the boss's son. I was just one of the lads, you know.
So is it quite emotional watching this film? Is it sort of a nostalgia trip?
It was. I'd say more so towards the end. It was very emotional.
And Brian, do you feel sort of some pressure knowing that you're playing not only such a renowned figure, but a renowned figure that will have family members watching the movie? Does that add something to...
Well, it's quite nerve-wracking, and you just want to get it right. And the thing is, this story is about essence. You know, it's about belief, and it's about this whole thing of, you know, of gaining knowledge and youth. You know, it really is about youth and what Matt did, you know, as an extraordinary manager. And he was the first. You know, he was the first that said it's about the kids. You know, the talent comes there, and that's where it starts. And it's not just a journey for the game; it's a journey for life. And I think he had a vision of that. And clearly he was a man of tremendous faith. That came across to me, and he kind of always reminded me of a priest. You know, he was like Spencer Tracy or those characters from Boys Town. You know, it was just a great film that I saw when I was a kid with Mickey Rooney, and I always thought Matt had that sort of kind of like a secular priest about him. There was that quality about him, and it just shone. It was an honour. You know, it was a no-brainer to say I would do it. I mean, then the problem starts, because you think, am I gonna rise to this magnificent guy? You know, and he really was. I mean, he was an extraordinary man. You know, and there's not been very many like him. You know, and he started it. He was the beginning. He really was. He was the one that had the vision about youth, you know, and the Busby Babes. There's only one Busby Babes, and there's been a group of them, but he started it. You know.
So was it quite a challenge to portray him in years that we weren't as exposed to him as a person?
Well, in a sense it was, but in a sense it was also the privacy of the man, you know, private. I had to make certain. You know, I don't know. Sandy and we've only just met, so I haven't really discussed this with him. But I think that the Munich tragedy probably affected him very deeply, very, very deeply, and it's something that he probably never quite got over. But I think he dealt with it. But it became so part of him, and also it kind of drove him in a way. In a sense, it kind of, you know, when he got back on his feet and he started to get the team back again. But it was a major event in his life, and in a sense, when you get older, you know, and I'm not quite the age that he was then. I'm a little young, but you start reflecting a bit more, and you start actually looking at things and seeing your life in perspective. You know, you begin to see it. It's actually quite a nice thing too. It's quite a healthy thing. But it's it was such a privilege to play him. It was just a huge privilege.
And Sandy, I was going to ask as well. In the past, you've been vocal about your unhappiness with portrayals of your father in kind of dramatisations. But as assuming as you're sitting here today, this is one you're obviously very happy with.
Oh, definitely. I tell you what, I'm I'm not exaggerating, but there was times there when I thought, if I'd have gone like that, there was times there when I thought, that's my dad. The way he did, and he did it brilliantly. I said that. I was a fan of his before this, by the way, from the Bourne legacies and the Bourne, but he was absolutely magic. I told Ben the first time that he said to me, Brian Cox is playing your father. I said, oh my God, brilliant, and that's how it was.
Because I was going to say as well, the film is predominantly aimed at a kind of younger audience. Do you think it's really important that kids are now being exposed to the story of Matt Busby and that his legacy is continuing on, and this film is giving that kind of chance?
It's for young kids. I think it's for young kids, the fathers and the grandfathers.
Yeah. It's about lineage.
Yeah.
It really is about lineage, and it's about something that is sadly missing from our. We had a kind of balance for many years, and so many kids are now falling off the side, and this is an affirmation of what is possible, and that's what Matt represented. What was possible for any kid, from any environment. He came into that environment of Manchester United, or the Matt Busby environment, and they were really looked after, and they were given the potential.
And my final question is, this interview is going to actually go up just after the World Cup has finished, but obviously at the moment hasn't started yet. So this is your chance to give me your predictions for who's going to win, and then when it goes up, we'll see if you got it right or not.
Scotland aren't playing, are they?
No, Scotland aren't playing, no. I have no idea. I have no idea. Probably the home, maybe Spain, but probably could be the home team. In their own environment, they could.
They've got to go for Brazil.
Yeah, probably Brazil.
Would love. I'd tell you what, I'd really love the England side.
So would I.
Get a bit further, even if they got a bit further.
It would be great for the England side to
back home.
It'd be great for them to get into the quarterfinals and get even the semi-finals, because I think they need that break, and I think they're there. It's all there, and it's great. It would be great for English football. Yeah. It would be great for a few home lads to do well.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.